It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is Thursday, March 13th, and so happy for you joining us. We are ready to start another day together with the Lord. So subscribe to us on YouTube, do not follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we have an exciting podcast for you, and of course, once again, it is 316 Testimonies. Hope you guys are really going to enjoy and have an amazing time with this too. We do have another wonderful testimony from the head leader in Germany. Her name is Chunpi. I think some of you guys know her. She's like 6 foot tall. She has like 11 and a half shoe size. I don't know why I said that, but it was a funny thing we were talking about during the interview. But I hope you guys will enjoy these 316 testimonies and their thoughts on different things that are going on, especially in their countries too. All right. So yeah. How are you doing, everyone? It is a wonderful and awesome Thursday. We don't have Q&A Thursday today, mainly because we are going to be working on these 316 testimonies. I hope you guys will really be able to enjoy this too. Don't forget, we are going to still continue to have these Q&A Thursdays every single week, but not this week because of the testimonies we're going to have. So I hope you get those questions ready. Send them to me whenever you can. And if you haven't yet for today's video, please leave a like and comment to build this community together. I'm just super happy for everyone joining us every weekday on the Morning Star Drive. So let's get up and support each other each and every day. This week's Sunday message title is Your Eyes Will Open Only When You Think About It, right? So very powerful message, especially when it talks about 316, about the rapture, about the day of life, about the ascension. Like there's so many things that we need to think about. So I hope that everyone will be preparing themselves even more spiritually at this time as 316 is furiously coming closer. I hope everyone is really preparing themselves well. And of course, I was telling you guys yesterday how important the Wednesday message is. The two messages that are very important and powerful for 316 is going to be the Wednesday message, and it's going to be last Friday's prayer meeting message. And what Steve said about the Wednesday message too, he said that this message and the 316 message are a pair. And the Wednesday message we just heard last night, that one is the inner message, and it's all about absolute love. And when it comes down to it, I think it's one of the most, even though it sounds really scary and like love, you don't get to get heaven. It's like all about love. It only sounds scary because it's said in a way like an ultimatum. You know what I mean? Because it's said in that way, it makes it sound scary. But reality is it's not really that scary at all. It really isn't. It's more, I find it more comforting because remember, this is how much we are like held captive to a moment. Like we're held prisoner every time we hear the message because it's like, if you don't evangelize and this, and if you don't do this, if you don't pray for freedom, if you don't do, and it's all talking about this, and that. It's all about these things. And we're like, oh my gosh. But then when you really think about it, the Wednesday message is the key one that basically says that, oh, by the way, you can do anything you want. You can work hard. You can go to every service, but if you don't love, it's worth nothing. And it reminds me of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verses like, 1 through 3 is all like, if you speak in tongues, if you have all knowledge, if you have answers to all things, if you heal and do miracles, without love, it is nothing and you gain nothing from it, right? And that's something, when you really think about it, that is more comforting, that even if you may not get evangelize a ton of people, the most important thing that matters first is the love. Right? And I like some of the points in the Wednesday message when it's talking about if you don't have that love between you and the Holy Trinity, another problem that's going to come up is when you teach and you don't bring the love of God into people, they'll have no strength, even though they realize they have no strength to push forward. They have no hope, no joy. And it's something where we have to really think about this very, very deeply too. So, it's a great message. If you haven't heard it, I know tons of people are flying during the Wednesday message, you got to take a look at the message. It is a key message that we all have to know and understand very, very well. So I'm hoping that everyone will gain a lot from this too. Guys, I'm so stressed. Like stressed, and I'm going to tell you guys this. I'm not going to say stressed in a negative way because, stress is negative, but I think all of us would agree that there is like normal stress. That's the stress I have. It's like the normal, regular stress, right? And it's something where it's not a stress where it's like, oh, I want to quit. I want to do. No. It's not none of the complaining type. It's just like, this is such a powerful and big event. And it's something that is so important that we're preparing, making sure that we, it's like what the Wednesday message said is sacrifice is not a loss, right? We sacrifice all the things that we're doing right now so that everyone else can receive grace. And that is not a loss, no matter how difficult it is. And for me, is the stress that I have is just there's too much to do. And we are understaffed at IMD. There's 7 of us, right? And think about the Western countries. There's only 2 of us in the Western countries right now. So when I look at this, I'm like, wow, this is really, really difficult. And there's just so many things that we need to get done. And for me, another thing that's very interesting, not interesting, but for me is, it's my first time going through 316 as IMD. I've only been here for 7 months. So I'm going through all these events for the first time. And the crazy part is it is the biggest events and stuff like that. And for me, it's so huge that I'm like, whoa, like it's even because we have like over 2,200 people coming to almost 2,300 coming from foreign countries. It's so big that even the people who have been here for 7 years have never experienced it this big before. Right? So for me, it was like, for me, it's just like, wow, I'm new and I'm like struggling over this and like seeing all the work that needs to be done. And they, these people have been doing it for so many years that they're like pros at it. Like I'm stuck there like, what the heck I'm like just learning as I go still, right? So I'm learning it, I'm understanding it. I was like, okay, that makes more sense. This makes more sense to me too. So that's something that I'm very, very grateful and thankful for. But it's the stress even today, like when someone in IMD comes to me and says, here, take this sticker. And it's a sticker for like pimples. And I got this big pimple on my forehead. And she's like, try this. It might work. And I'm like, man, it's one of those stress pimples just because so tired and just, there's so much work. And what's the worst part is my diet is terrible because we're in so many meetings all day that not like the meetings is like going over all the crap, right? It's just so much. Yeah. So I was just like, man, this is crazy kind of thing. But I'm very, very grateful and thankful that I have this mission. And I hope that we can all have a graceful 316. But yes, I know some of you will look at me and you'll see the pimple in my forehead. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's huge. But yeah, it's something that I was looking at and I thought to myself is like, yeah, this is something that I was very, It's I don't know. I think I'll take this pimple as a war scar, that this is like my badge of honor that I've been stressing out and eating a ton of snacks every day. Yeah, guys, I've been eating way too much snacks, like way too many chips. So I can see, I understand why this pimple has come on my forehead. It's huge, guys. It is. When you look at me, you'll be like, okay, it's huge, right? Either way. So I hope that you guys are enjoying these interviews. They are very good. I really like talking to people about their experiences and what they feel about 316 and what they've gone through. And I hope it's something that you guys can also enjoy and gain a lot from also. So today's is going to be Pastor Chunpi. She is the head leader for the German church. And I've known her since like 2008, 2009. So it's been roughly like 15, 16, 2008, 9. It's like 17 years. 17 years, which is crazy. But I've known her since she was a newcomer, and she was also a head leader over there in the UK church, the London church too. So, and I'm very fond of that church also, but I'm very grateful and thankful. and just to be able to sit down and talk to her, because most of the times we don't get to see each other very much, like leaders from around the world. But it was something that I'm very, very happy and thankful. Like even right now, it's pretty deep into the night. It's like 10:30 around there, p.m. But I know that another American team is going to be coming in around in about an hour and a half kind of thing. So I'm thinking like, I'm like, should I go out to greet them? Because, I don't know. But I'm just like, but I am very happy because my coffee grinder is coming. It's very close. I'm very excited about it too. But either way, so before we get into today's 316 interview, let's first go into the first music break of the day.
Just like the rest, I walked in death, not knowing the value of a single breath. My pride was the biggest prize I had to protect, walking around high and mighty, sticking out my chest, calling the shots like I know what's best, living how I like, but I piled up a debt. Outside's alive and aware the inside is dead, and suddenly truth shine just like the dawn. All things in life I knew 0%. Then I realized how far I was gone. Wasn't right about anything, I was dead wrong. Everything thought to be reality was a fallacy. My life wasn't great, it was a tragedy. All I knew was fake, I thought I'm losing my sanity. All the while gazing at me was the Trinity, looking with love, grace, and mercy. Patiently working consistently with me, and eventually brought me to the new history. I learned about someone new whom they used. He worked with heaven and I learned his stories. He is living proof that the Bible's words are true. On the scene at 15, splitting every single seam. God's words flow from him like he's a stream, preaching to the point that even his throat would bleed. The most impressive person I have ever seen. Him speaking the truth revealed everything to me. Parables, holy son, soul entity, spiritual universe. Frankly, I don't think he's done. He's taught me 1,000 tons, too much for a single verse. This is so amazing to the point I may burst. I'm sure he's the one the Bible said would come. Where else would this earth-shattering word come from? Then I really realized he is the Messiah, sent to the world and raised humanity a level higher. Didn't come to destroy, but the word is the fire. Amen to the very end, my faith won't expire. He's been going 79 years and hasn't tired. Due to that condition, the greatest blessing we've acquired. Between him and the Trinity, that time was finally captured. I'm sure now that they got their bride, nothing can match her. Rapture, that's what we received. Was evangelized, lectured, managed, now I believe. Never knew this was something I could achieve. Your blessings really flow endlessly. I promise you, I'll never leave. So I'll stay with you to the death of me. With you I've fulfilled my destiny. Now I'll reboot, give you the best of me. Offering my youth, running even faster. For me and so many, you're not just a pastor. You're the shepherd over all these pastures. King of kings, Lord of lords, that's for sure. We're a perfect match, a hand and a glove. The atmosphere in the air is full of love. Came from above to hold the banquet. So I'll GGG eternally for 316. Just cause I was swept into the net of the word, heard and learned, doesn't mean it's over yet. I really need to look at myself and reflect, line up against God's perfect law and check. All my flaws need to be resolved. Be bold to slanderers when I try to call. Like him, I'm thankful for tribulations, cause I didn't fall. With the rapture, I'm standing tall. The love they give is truly priceless. If I'm not with the Lord, life enters crisis. Without him, I'm a ship that's wrecked to pieces. So I'll always eat the word. Box of Reese's, stick to him, red blood cell and Reese's. I praise God for sending son, sing him, and Jesus. He had a plan for them before they were a fetus, to reveal to the world heaven's deep secrets. With his name, bring the pain, breaking Satan's noses. With the Lord's condition, let's show him a comatosis. While looking at heaven, never losing focus, conversing in our thoughts every single moment. Then a spiritual rapture will never be stolen. If you only see strife, come see what peace is. If you want to know heaven, come and see this. If life were an essay, this is the thesis. Rapture, that's what we received. Was evangelized, lectured, managed, now I believe. Never knew this was something I could achieve. Your blessings really flow endlessly. I promise you, I'll never leave. So I'll stay with you to the death of me. With you I've fulfilled my destiny. Now I'll reboot, give you the best of me. Offering my youth, running even faster. For me and so many, you're not just a pastor. You're the shepherd over all these pastures, King of kings, Lord of lords, that's for sure. We're a perfect match, a hand in a glove. The atmosphere in the air is full of love. Came from above to hold the banquet. So I'll GGG eternally for 316. Remember, this wasn't given for free, so always hear the word and do good deeds. Praising those that saved us is an amazing thing, and live with them in love. 1 John 3:18. Be like him, always run on God's team. If you live like him, you'll surely succeed. Believe him, absolutely, and gotta let you pass. If you want the greatest salvation, walk this only path.
All right, so here we are. I'm actually at the same cafe, and I did. What's your title? Minister Shine. So I didn't know she was a minister, but Minister Shine. But now I'm going a little bit higher. I'm going to Pastor Chunpit. Yeah, those of you guys don't know. Pastor, are you head leading or?
I'm head leading.
Head leading the German church.
Yes.
In what city?
Well, it's only one church. But
It's one church. Living in Augsburg. Okay. So I'm still in Europe right now, guys. So we're gonna talk to Pastor Chunpit. We can just call her Chunpit. I don't know whichever, but let's just be comfortable with this. But before we start, I'm gonna get her to kind of introduce herself so that you guys know who you're talking to.
Yeah, hi, I'm Chunpit. My German name is Ruth, and I've been in Providence since 2008. I was evangelized in England, and yeah, I think that's the most important thing.
How long have you been leading? How long have you been leading? How long have you been leading?
How long I've been leading? I've been leading the church in Germany since 2017 April, and before that, actually, I was head leader in England as well. And that's, funnily enough, exactly until 2015, after the rapture, after 316, where it happened for the first time.
Fired at the rapture.
Yeah. I raptured up. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Okay, so I have a big question for you. Big question. What is your shoe size?
My shoe size?
Yeah, what's your shoe size?
42 for like German, and that's like 7.5, I think, the US for women.
No, that's 7.5 men's.
A man? Yeah, might be men actually. Yeah.
That's like a 10 in women's.
So it's a kind of small shoe size for my height.
Really?
Yes.
No, it's a US men's 9.
Okay. So US men 9. Okay.
I'm just telling you because I see her foot like right in front of me. Her size is a woman's 11 and a half.
What? No.
It is. It's a US size 11 and a half. Yeah. European size 42 shoe typically corresponds to a US men's 9, while for women it's a US size 11 and a half.
11 and a half.
Yeah, okay, she got huge feet. They're so huge, right? But of course, you're like 182 centimeters. Yeah, so she's 6 feet tall. So that's one of the reasons why. So that's what it is. Okay. So we did talk a little bit before this. So I've known Chunpit since I think 2009 when she was a newcomer. I think she said like we met in Korea long time ago. 2009 is like 16 years ago. Oh, then it could have been 16. So 16, 17 years we've known each other. So, but we know, of course, we never ran together or anything else like that, but we know of each other, at least, and we met each other at that time there too. So, and one thing for me is because I was the pioneering the church in England, and then after I left, she was the one that came, got evangelized, and she started leading the church over there too. So it's kind of another connection there too. And both of our names, our Korean names, have the word Chun in it. Both of us were evangelized at 19, turning 20, and both of us are coming from like deeply rooted Christian families, right? She just has bigger feet than me. But either way, so let's get into today's 316. We're going to talk about 316 because this is what it's all about. So first things first, what was, since you've been here for that long, you were here for the very first 316. What was that first 316 experience for you?
2015 was absolutely surprising in a sense, shocking, also, very regretful, I would say. One of the things, funnily enough, I remember is like one of the pastors breakdancing on the stage. But what was really, because we have a time difference, right? So it's like 8 hours time difference. When we actually received the news, it was kind of pre-dawn time, morning time. So it was after pre-dawn. So pre-dawn service had already happened, but then actually people were like either getting ready to work or actually getting, maybe sleeping again or something like this. And then we got contacted. But then actually I wasn't at that time looking at my phone. So I almost kind of like missed it, passed it off, something like this. And so we like kind of urgently, like last minute, gathered in the living room and tried to contact people before they would go to work or before something would happen. So it was all very, how can I say, unorganized, unprepared, just an absolute, unfulfilling, regretful events, I would say. But because actually for me as well at that time, we had very much prepared for the Sunday. Because the Sunday was actually, like just the day before. And because it was a Sunday, we had like done all the performances we would normally do then on 316. And because we knew it would be like the Holy Sun leaving, so I had poured everything into like the day before, if that makes sense. And for me, it had been like, okay, I've poured everything into like the day and the performance and everything. And because it's 8 hours ahead, for me, it was like, oh, we kind of like use that day, the Sunday, to really do everything to the fullest. And therefore, it was very, regretful, I have to say, to like how we received the next day, the actual day. And so, it was also very surprising because then we only received the news, we actually have a time and we actually have like these directions. And I felt like, we have kind of fully tried to do it the day before, and then it actually became like so almost shameful also on the morning when it actually happened. Right. So I'm very sad still about it. But that's what actually really, honestly happened.
And then, and of course, we all knew that, Shinette wasn't here, but we're all, something straight up like, you should have quit your job and came to Korea. You should have quit everything. You should have like left your baby inside the house and just flew over here, let your baby die. Because it's the once in a lifetime thing that will never happen again. Yeah. For me too, I was in Korea. Right. I was working there. Yeah. Right, and the same thing for me is like the seat opened up for me to go, and I didn't take it. It was brutal. It was so brutal. Yeah. All the guys out there, 2015. Tell me, guys, if you were there or not. But that was brutal. It was like it's supposed to be the greatest time ever. It turns into like the saddest time of repentance, and we all decided that we all returned to the domain of death. It was that bad. Yeah. But after that happened, what would you say? Like, was there a switch or a change that you guys did right after that one, like to the next one?
So for the next one, I wasn't actually in England anymore because after that, there was a switch in the mind, basically, where also Sansanim was like saying, yeah, it was really regretful, it was really, really shameful, but, you should revive again, and you should be thankful because you did rapture, even though you didn't actually like do it really well, but you guys still raptured. You should really be convinced, and you should be really happy about it. And, also as a head leader, I felt like responsible, like for everyone. And then for the situation too, and then also there were some members who, really also suffered because of that, because they felt like, oh, they missed something because of that. So yes, and then because Sansin was saying back then, like, and then all those messages came, which we had to proclaim, from the pulpit, like, yeah, of course you rapture, like, I'm sure of it. And then he was like, you have to be sure first. So I had to kind of like really get that conviction. Okay, I did really rapture, even though I don't necessarily feel it like straight away, but I should really feel it. I should be really happy about it. And I still remember also, like, something said, like, oh, so little people actually, like, wrote me letter afterwards of Thanksgiving and, like, really replied in a happy way. Yeah, and I still remember at that time, like, I wrote something, but it wasn't, like, fully, because, the day wasn't really fully happy for me, in a sense. But I was really, really thankful, nevertheless. And I think like the kind of switch happened that, it was more maybe I just believe it for now, even though I don't feel it yet. But then with time, the kind of conviction came. And then we had Thanksgiving repetition thing in April. I don't know if, you remember? There was in April, around 18th, I believe, at that time.
2015.
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, okay,
Resurrection.
Yeah.
So there was actually kind of like a redemption day. And that was April, I think, 18th, 2015. And I was more concentrating also then on this. And then, but then I did feel like, okay, we did like rapture, we do the redemption, and we came out of it, but still there was, for myself, also a little bit the full realization maybe missing to a certain degree. And then that became the year basically when I also decided to lay down my mission and go to Korea actually. Yeah, and then I spent the next 3-1-6 in Korea.
Oh, nice.
So 16 I was in Korea and 17 I spent it in Korea. 16 more as a part, and it was relatively small as far as I believe. And then 17, actually, it was on the massive stage. It was way bigger than 16. So 17 was bigger, and then I took part in the performance as well on stage. Yeah, which I have to say, like, also taking part in the performances is graceful, but at the same time, it comes with a lot of, struggle. And I sometimes felt also like, oh, when does it become too like physical based, and when do we actually, have the balance? So I always believe that it's graceful to be part of it, but then also it can, for myself, it can sometimes be also kind of a distraction, if that makes sense. Not a distraction, but like, your whole focus comes to like certain things, preparing kind of something like very physical in a sense. And so I was thinking about what I should do after 17, because anyway, then I became head leader in Germany, and then 18, Sunstein called the head leaders to Korea to take part in 316 again. So I went again. And then I took part again in the performance, actually. And then something watched through the internet. And I still remember because that was actually in the White Stone Church. And I think this was actually, again, one of the most difficult 316s. Because the atmosphere and the preparation was very chaotic. And then a lot of things happened where I felt like tested in a sense. Because I felt like, all those kind of things happening around me. And then there's still other people I would like to take care of, for example, in Germany, like Sinead said, that, she was there only with a few members and she had to actually, even as a newcomer, take care of other people in a sense. And at the same time, I was in Korea and it was supposed to be very spiritual, really high level, but then, I also felt like, so much things that could actually distract from the importance of the day and what is actually spiritually happening. Yeah. So then 2019.
What would you say was the best one for you?
For me, the best?
Yeah, 316.
The best 316. Whoa, this is a good question, actually. Yeah. I would say probably actually 2016. 16. Because it was like the most where I felt like I'm taking part in it and not being like so much under pressure and like, how can I say, having to do things that, in a sense, would distract me from what was important or is important. So I was more part of the whole ceremony, if that makes sense, than just, concentrating maybe on like, I need to really prepare for that one performance, and then I need to, do all this and that, or missing it, basically. Or 19, I think, was the one where something rebuked. So where even though we were like watching it, through the live broadcast, we felt like dying and like, wow, this is terrible. Yeah, we had two newcomers actually sitting there, and I kind of had to explain to them because they were like shocked, I think. And then it's like, I hope you understand the heart. So yeah, I think there were many things where for this year too, I felt like, I actually, from the beginning, I said, I don't want to take part in any of the performances or whatever. So, because I wanted to really go and really take part in it, to really fully consciously take part in the whole event, if that makes sense. And this is kind of also like, we came here with Europe and with preparation, and we will also perform. But I'm practicing for that too, but I'm really trying not to make it the focus, if that makes sense. Like, of course, I want to do it with my whole heart for the Trinity. It doesn't mean I want to do it like, I don't care, but I want to do it with my whole heart. But at the same time, I don't want it to be the main dominator.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm looking actually really forward to this year. And I really feel that after 10 years, it's like rounding up and like kind of like everything can be like done in a new way. And I feel also that 23 was kind of very subdued. And last year also I felt it was a little bit like still people having actually a hard time. And it was also a time people kind of needed maybe also to strengthen themselves again, if that makes sense. And then I feel like this year is really the year where we can like do it proper, and like this should become like the new standard, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I'm really actually looking forward to this year, even though Sansim cannot be there. I still believe he will guide and lead everything, and I'm already very excited about like his stage design and yeah, what he said, but also because he really said we should be taking part in it. So this is also the same heart I have actually through the whole 10 years looking back. I'm like, I really look forward to that the most.
Why do you think Sunsim thinks this one is the most important? Why do you think Sunsim is putting such a big emphasis on this 10-year anniversary? Like, what is so special about this year's 316? What, like, your opinion, your thoughts on it?
I think that, well, I don't know his heart fully. I don't know the Trinity exactly, but they also work with time, right? And I think 10 is also very meaningful. We even like, anniversaries and stuff like this, they do like after 3 years or something like this. But 10 is also very important. And
Actually, I studied this with the interview we did yesterday. 10 years is called the tin anniversary. So it's like usually like cookingware or like decorations, but it's a sign of, durability and flexibility, right? So like it was quite interesting. That's a 10-year wedding anniversary. It's supposed to be the tin anniversary.
yeah, and I think that it is special because so many also marriages break up, right? And they normally, like 10 years also is not short time. So I think on top of this, I think it's really that we now can say we went through everything. And now we can really set a good foundation. And I think Providence is again at a moment where we can really go forward. And we know what's our pride and our strength. And that actually, we want to display this. And I think that's one of the reasons is also special. Yeah.
For you, why is it special for you?
I mean, for those reasons, but then also, because as I said, the last years, there have been many times where I actually felt like I could also not maybe do it in the way I wanted to. So that's why this year also is special for me. Yeah, and also coming to Korea because it's the place where it happened. And starting from Wolmyongdong, the lawn, and then basically I really always feel the Trinity so much in Wolmyongdong. Yeah, I really love that place. And I really, every time I come, I'm so amazed because, since I've almost come every year since I'm in Providence, I've seen also how much it developed. And, in the past also, somebody like lately talked with me about it and I was actually reflecting on it. The person said like, oh, you only stay in Wolmyongdong? And I said, yeah, of course, if I can. But then in the past, even Sansnim would actually say, when we would visit, he would know, of course, and he would be like, go to Seoul, or visit Busan, or go there, do this. But he never told us to just stay in Wolmyongdong. But nowadays, what does he actually do? He says, bring people to Wolmyongdong. Yeah, so it completely changed. Because also, before, honestly speaking, when there was, only this one building and it was beautiful before, don't get me wrong, but it definitely changed so much. And all the different places, like even thinking about, where before was like until when people would park their cars. It was different. There was no guard house in the beginning. And so Wolmyongdong also is really now this like pride that Sansim also has for Myeongdong, and that he like keeps talking about it. Like I can really feel that, and for me also coming here, therefore, for 316 is also very meaningful, and I'm really thinking that this time will be very special.
Okay, so since you've been leading since 2018, right? Said 2017. My question to you is, because you're coming from a different perspective. A lot of people I talk to are talking from the perspective of, oh my gosh, we went through this 2023, whatever it is. But what about, like, what was it like for you from the leadership perspective of going through 2023, like that difficulty?
Wow. So I think I have to tell the full story then, which is actually that in Europe it started 2022. And we have people who started slandering from inside Germany. There was, so there had been in the past anyway problems or certain, persecution to a certain degree. But I think there was a huge difference. And for me, as a leader, it was very different because we normally go through certain channels. Because we normally go through headquarters and then IMD, and then, we connect with Korea. And I think at that time, basically, all those channels were corrupted to a certain degree. Right. To a certain degree, at least, they were corrupted. And so even the people we thought we could trust were actually then giving us bad advice. And so as a leader, it was difficult, but then also for me personally, it was the first time actually I started having certain doubts. Because so far I was always very convinced. I have come from Christianity, and I never doubted God, and still didn't. But obviously the problem where it attacks is always Son's name. It's always the one sent. So it was the first time I felt like I'm really doubting. Yeah, I couldn't just get rid of it. And I was really praying about it, and I was actually saying to the Trinity, like, you need to really hold me right now, because I don't know where to go. And then I have these people also, obviously, but there were also other leaders in Europe who were struggling and going in different ways. So even there, meetings among us were not really graceful at all. And so I started having those questions, and there was nowhere to go to. There was really nobody physically to go to. Nobody could give the answer. So I was just praying. And I think it was January or February, I actually had a dream. And in my dream, I was kind of like a FBI agent, something like this. And I was in charge of basically finding facts, or basically proof that there was a traitor to the country. So which, symbolically was standing obviously for Son's name. Right. But I was basically close to this person, so they entrusted me this mission to go and, go to the place I knew he was living, and then basically get this proof so that he could be arrested and could put onto trial. So I went to the place I knew he was at, or was staying at, but he wasn't there at that time. So I went to the place and I looked through the stuff, and I found this booklet. And from the outside, it looked exactly like kind of the pamphlet, I was looking for. At least in my dream, I knew I was looking for this. And this is the proof. I know now, he's guilty. Right. So actually, from the outside, it looked, and I was convinced at that time, also in my dream, I'm like, yes, I did my job. As a special agent, I did my job great. I found this proof. So I actually called the military at that time in my dream. And, like in a dream, you somehow can see weird stuff. So I saw, like helicopter coming, like bulldozer coming, like everything coming, the military coming in droves to arrest this one person. And then actually, so I hang up the phone, I've done my job, I'm like, wow, I'm like so great, I'm a hero. And then I open the pamphlet, and all the papers are white and clean and empty. And I was like, dang, wow, this means this person is absolutely innocent. And, like basically it showed me like spot cleanless, white, like bright paper. And I realized basically afterwards, after waking up, this is exactly the situation. From the world, he looks so guilty, and basically no matter how you look at it, you think like, oh, there's something wrong. But actually if you look on the inside, and if you look from the Trinity's perspective, everything is spotless clean. He's innocent. So for me, that was like the answer. Because I also don't dream often. If I dream, it's mostly spiritually. Right. But like it was basically this like one answer I really, really needed. And where I felt like, wow, this is shocking. Yeah. And I felt, and I repented, and I realized, I had forgotten a lot of things, and I had like basically been blinded by certain things, and been starting to doubt, even though there shouldn't be. And so for me, 2023, basically around that time, in the beginning, then I really made up my mind. So like I should really also remember again, what did the Trinity do for me, and what did Sansin do for me, and what are their stories, and how can we go through this?
Wow, like I was gonna actually ask you how you got out of it, but then you told me that you told the story of the dream, so I'm just like, wow, that's how you got. Okay, that makes sense. So, that's a great story, and it's just well, obviously it's a happy ending because you're still here, right? But it's amazing to see how God works in people's lives to help them to overcome what they're praying for. Like you genuinely want to overcome it, and you get the answer, and then from that point on, you're like, okay, I'm good, right? Pretty much, it kind of grows. Yeah.
It's never, I think, just
right.
But I think, it definitely.
Yeah. Like that's the starting point where it progresses, right? Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And I think most people go through that. There's never that one thing like, boom, I'm done, everything is fine, right? So especially something this really, really deep and dark, I guess. Yeah. Awesome. So, really thankful and grateful that Chumpit can share her experiences, whether it's from 2023 or from 316 over the last, 10 years. But I'm sure many of you have received a lot of grace from this too. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and feel your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, I'm on the Morning Star Drive, I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, I'm on the Morning Star Drive.